Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Sharon H. Porter, and I am here with such a wonderful person. She is Nicole Walker. She is my guest tonight on the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, where we feature entrepreneurs on their grind. Nicole Walker is a mother, a businesswoman, and leader. She is an international speaker, a leadership specialist, a podcast host, and success strategist. Nicole Walker Network is a leadership development and strategic planning company offering coaching, consulting, and workshops to aspiring and current entrepreneurs looking to reach the next level. She leads podcasts. Leadership Empowerment for Women of Color is an interview-style podcast featuring leadership experiences, insight, and advice from female entrepreneurs. Nicole is a lifelong learner, having attained her MBA and various certifications in business analysis, training, instructional development, and design and project management. And today she is my guest. Nicole, welcome to the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I am just, first of all, so excited that you are here because I tell you, I'm like, okay, Nicole, we need to get together. We are along the same lines. We can do some major collaborations. So
yes, I'm ready.
I'm reading my bio. I did share a little bit about you in the background of Nicole Walker Network, and then she leads podcasts. But can you just share just a little more background on you and who you are?
Okay, well, like you said, Nicole Walker, originally from New Jersey, now residing in Tampa, Florida. I would consider myself to be a serial entrepreneur. I've started several businesses and now into leadership development and strategic planning, as well as a podcast host. I'm the mother of two children, a 19-year-old and a 5-year-old. So my life, it goes from one extreme to the next. As far as me, like leadership is really my passion. You know, I've come from being led by a lot of underdeveloped and undeveloped leaders, which drove me to wanting to help people be better leaders and to just spread more positivity and empowerment into the world, as opposed to a lot of the negativity that I received during my time growing up and my different experiences. She Leads Podcast is the podcast I created, and that is an effort to be the change I wanted to see. I feel like the collaboration amongst women can be fleeting here and there. I grew up, it was a lot of cattiness, you know, more competition based as opposed to collaboration based. So you made a great point. Let's definitely get together and do something great, because I believe that as women together, you know, we need to get together. Together we can be greater. And that was my purpose, to show that we can celebrate each other. We can be in the same industries, doing the same business, and we're not taken away from each other. We can be great together. So let's join hands and let's continue to be great, and let's change the world. And that's just what I'm all about.
I love it. And yeah, we definitely going to connect on that level. So now let's start out talking about Nicole Walker Network. And so you work again with aspiring and emerging entrepreneurs, really helping them get started. You're on that leadership piece, which is my passion as well. Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is twofold. So my ideal client, as far as the aspiring entrepreneur, is the person that is in a place where they know that it's more to life than what they currently are experiencing. They have many gifts and talents, but yet they have not come to a place where they have figured out exactly what to do with those gifts. I'm here to help you figure out that path and get you up and running and ready to be the successful leader that you know you are, and that I know you are as well. In addition, I also I'm still aiming, this is one of my aims, to be a trainer in the corporate space. I feel like, as far as my leadership development skills, it should be in companies, and I would hope for it to be in small businesses, but I do understand that there are budget restraints when it comes to small businesses, and they may not understand the importance of that leadership aspect. But I feel like if you get it from the beginning, you won't have to worry about fixing some of the broken pieces that happen, when you don't pay attention to the importance of leadership development. But as far as in that corporate space, they definitely understand the need for leadership training. And I have a workshop designed to train leaders in the corporate space to be the best leaders that they can be, to empower their people so that they have autonomous employees, people that are passionate about the job, and then they bring the best to the business so that the business can be the best.
I love that. And so with She Leads podcast, the leadership podcast, how long have you been podcasting?
Okay, well, I would consider myself still fairly new. She Leads podcast actually launched in March of this year. So March 1st, 2018 was the first episode of She Leads podcast. I'm actually currently I'm in season 2, almost at the end of season 2. So like the 16th episode of season 2 will be coming out this week. And I'm just wrapping up interviews for season 3. So it is going well. I'm loving the support I'm receiving. I'm loving how women are embracing and loving me, and I just love how when I started She Leads podcast, my goal was to, again, like I said, be the change I wanted to see. I wanted to show women that we can collaborate. I wanted to also provide that leadership insight and advice out to people. But yet I didn't realize how much I would be blessed by this experience. I have been so blessed by engaging with these different women. Every episode, I learned something for myself. So I really hope that those people that are listening and tuning in are also taking away the jewels and the nuggets and the gems that are offered on She Leads podcast every week.
I know, I love that. And, people often wonder, why do you do podcasts? And I know I started mine basically because I love to listen to podcasts. That was my initial jump into that. So what made you decide to say, I think I'll start She Leads podcast? What was that deciding factor for you?
Well, ironically, mine was thanks to my business coach. I have to thank my business coach, and my business coach is someone that I've known for years. So he knew me when I was younger. So he actually knew, my personality and things like that. I had been the kind of person that didn't accept my leadership. I kind of wanted to hide. I wanted to be in the background. I didn't want to be the shining star that I now know I am, and I'm now embracing. And it's okay. It's not, I don't want to sound cocky, but if you don't toot your own horn, no one else will. So I didn't want to be that person, and then in hiring my business coach, because I was just so frustrated. My 9 to 5 was, I feel like, sucking the life out of me, and I'm like, it has to be more. I actually started out, when I moved to Tampa, Florida from New Jersey, I was going to do a scrapbooking business. I just knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what, so I'm doing anything, okay, I'm in the scrapbooks. Let me do a scrapbooking business. And when I went out to these different classes and I'm talking to people, they're like, no, I didn't feel comfortable. When I said scrapbooking, it just didn't feel like the it that was me, and so what I did was I hired a business coach. And in hiring him, he's like, I see you with women, I see you need a podcast and this and that, so I was like, okay, I wasn't completely sold, don't get me wrong, I definitely don't, I marched to the beat of my own drum, so, but he did lead me into that direction, so once he planted that seed, I started thinking about it, and initially I was going to do just a leadership podcast, but then realizing the need for women, and then especially for women of color, to have that collaboration and to have that platform. I've always been a person into history and Black history, even, and it's not just for Black, it's for women of color. I'm a representative for the underdogs, what I would call it. I want the people that don't have the spotlight as often as others to have that spotlight. So that's where that birthed, thank goodness, to my business coach, as well as a few other people in Tampa that I spoke to, and, just kind of bounced the idea off of them. And they were like, yeah, you better go for it. And I kind of just hit the ground running.
I love it. And so you really touched on something very important. You invested in a business coach. And as we, talk to aspiring entrepreneurs, those, that are really trying, just like you were, like, I know I want to do something. What is it that I need to do? And I often say, because first of all, I mentor a lot of people, but I often tell them you need to invest in coaching. it's one thing to learn from your mistakes, but why not learn from the mistakes of others who can help guide you? So talk to me a little bit about how you direct your aspiring entrepreneurs. How do you get them started, just like your business coach got you started?
Okay, so mine would be more, getting to know the person, like listening to the person, finding out their gifts and talents. Like, for instance, I have a family member that is into cooking, so using her as an example, I listen to her. Every single conversation that we have is about some kind of food, something with cooking, and I'm like, you need to do a cooking blog. You need to have a catering business. You need some business cards, get yourself out there. You need to be monetizing because your passion is cooking, whether you realize it or not, whether you want to monetize off of it. We have these gifts and talents for a reason, and why not monetize off of what has been given to us, so it's basically pulling that out of an individual, figuring out what they're into, and then I'm very good at connecting the dot to, well, okay, this is what you're into, but how can you make money off of it? How can you turn it? And it's not, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not go after the money. I'm go after the passion, so if it's something that you love to do, they say if you love to do something, you'll never work a day in your life. So, and you should be paid for what they call your genius, or what I call your genius. You should be paid for your genius. It goes hand in hand. So I don't want to come off as a, money person. It's not about the money. It's about you doing what you love, so let's figure out what you're into, what you're gifted at, and then figure out how you can make money off of that, because why not?
Absolutely. As a coach, there is really a two-way street. And I think about when I have my discovery calls, when someone is looking to see if, they are going to hire me to help them through their entrepreneurs. But it's a two-way street, the best fit, I always call that. And so as an individual is, talking with you and you're going through the strategy session to see if you can meet their needs, I, as a coach, am also looking to see if I am a fit for this client, because you can't work with every client that comes through. And that goes back to the money issue. You just can't be collecting the fee. It really needs to be a best fit. Can you talk about that a little bit as it relates to you and how you choose the clients that you're working with?
Yes, and I definitely agree. And my thing is, a lot of people may have great ideas, oh, this is the next best multi-million-dollar idea. And again, a multi-million-dollar idea is awesome, but if your heart isn't in it, that's not really the kind of client that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a person that's purpose-driven, passion-driven, very into, their gifts and offering their gifts to the world. Because when you put your gift out to the world, the money will follow, so I want people that's really into changing the world with their gifts, as opposed to worrying about chasing a dollar sign. So that's sort of how I find out who's the best fit for me, like what really drives you. If money is the driver, I'm not the person for you, because money is not, the end all of all in my outlook, and I don't want to have you upset with me because I'm not going, in the way you want to go. That's just not how I work.
Okay, great. And so are you currently in corporate America?
I am.
You said that with
inspiration.
Let's talk about it, because many of us still have our silent investors, which is what I call them. And I, for one, I absolutely love my career as an educator, and don't have immediate intentions of transferring to 100% entrepreneur. And so I often, when I talk to those of us who are still in corporate America, but yet still going for our passion, the balance of it all, because it's really something. And I don't take it away from those who are in 100% entrepreneurship. But when you work a full-time job, and then you try to put all of your work into your coaching business or to your podcast, and God knows if you have 2 or 3 things you're working on, it really becomes challenging. Can you talk a little bit of how you manage it all? And you just said you're a mother of 2. So life happens, right? So what are some of the ways that you are able to manage it all?
Well, that is a great question. And kudos to you for actually enjoying what you do. I used to enjoy what I do. I am a training coordinator for a Fortune 15 telecommunications organization, and training is my passion. Yet unfortunately, I don't feel valued, right? So I really don't feel valued. So that makes it tough to enjoy the situation. I luckily work from home. I work from home, so I'm able to maximize my time because I don't have to be in an office. But I basically utilize the time that I have, so if that includes getting up earlier during the day, or unfortunately staying up later at night, to make sure that I dot those I's and cross those T's, that's something that I have to do. I don't watch TV. I stopped watching TV a few years ago when I was going to school for my MBA, so TV doesn't take up much of my time. I limit my social media time unless I'm working on business. So really, I feel like I'm never not working. I'm either working for my corporate job, I'm working as a mom, I'm working as the, woman of my household, or I'm working towards my podcast and or my business, So yes, many different hats, very multifaceted, but I always say, so whom much is given, much is required. And somehow, I don't know how, but somehow, well, I do know by the grace of God, I find the energy to keep going, day in and day out. And don't get me wrong, it is no easy feat. I definitely, hats off to anyone that is juggling corporate as well as entrepreneurship, as well as being a parent and every other thing that us women seem to carry so gracefully. Yeah. So, how do I manage it? By the grace of God. That's my best answer.
Because that is so true. And so now you have your coaching business, you have your podcast. Do you see yourself making that transition to full entrepreneurship?
Sharon, you are asking all of the questions that I was not ready to answer. Let me just let you know. Actually, my job just offered a separation package because they are down, they're doing something, right? And I find it so funny because I want to say earlier this year, I thought about leaving by the end of this year, right? And then now I'm being offered this separation package. So I'm like, okay, God, what are you telling me? What's going on here? It's super, super scary. But I am considering leaving either by the end of this year, sometime early next year. Like that, it's very intimidating. I don't know, but I know that I feel so empty in my corporate position, and if I felt like I loved my job and it was great. And when I was, training, I think with working with kids and things like that, I loved it, but where I am now is I just don't feel it, so for me, I do believe that is the best decision, and I will be making it sooner than later.
All right. That is interesting. All to you for making that jump and that leap, because it is scary, and it's going to be probably intimidating for a little while, but you're going to look back on it and be like, wow, I did it, and so we know that the grind and the hustle that you're going to go through, there's going to be valleys, ups and downs, but through it all, you're going to get through it. So I just say hats off to you and congratulations in advance for your jump.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So Nicole, where can individuals contact you? What if they are looking for a coach? What if they are looking to listen to your podcast? Where can they find you and connect with you?
Okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. I could give you 10 different places to find me, but I'm going to give you one that links out to all of the other ones. And that's on my website, which is NicoleWalker.net. That's NicoleWalker.net. And from there, you can link out to my podcast, which is on the tab for the blog. You have links to all of my social media outlets. My email is there. So any way to contact me, find out more about my coaching, my consulting, my workshops, as well as my podcast right from my website.
I love it. And Nicole, I am very serious when I say collaboration is on the horizon with us because I have so enjoyed my time with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I look forward to it. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So, guys, my guest has been the Nicole Walker. She is a leadership strategist. She's a podcast host. She is the founder of Nicole Walker Network. And tonight she was my guest on the Grind Entrepreneur Network. And this is where we feature amazing entrepreneurs on their grind. And Nicole Walker, you are certainly on your grind. So guys, have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you next time on the Grind Entrepreneur Network. Please follow us across all social medias at Grind E Network. Have a wonderful evening.